The one skill no one taught men growing up. Most men were taught how to be strong, how to work hard, how to push through, how to handle things on their own. They were taught to provide, to be dependable, to not complain. Those lessons mattered. They still do. But there's one skill most men were never taught growing up, and it quietly affects everything around them: their relationships, their confidence, their leadership, their personal peace. That skill is emotional regulation, not emotional expression, not venting, not talking about feelings endlessly. Emotional regulation means knowing what you feel, understanding why you feel it, and choosing how you respond instead of reacting. Most men were never taught that. They were taught to suppress, to ignore, to power on through. And emotions don't disappear when you ignore them. They go underground. And what goes underground always comes back as behavior. That's why so many men feel confused later in life, including myself. I've had to live through this. Most men feel that they're capable, they're disciplined, they're intelligent, but internally, they still feel reactive or shut down or tense. They don't lack strength. They lack regulation. Growing up, many boys learned that showing emotion meant weakness. If you were upset, you were told to just shake it off. If you were hurt, you were told to man up. No one explained how to process pressure without becoming controlled by it. So men learned to carry it until it leaked out as anger or withdrawal or resentment. Emotional regulation isn't about becoming soft. It's about becoming steady. It's strength under control. A man who can regulate his emotions doesn't explode, and he doesn't disappear. He stays present. When anger rises, he pauses. When insecurity shows up, he doesn't project it. When disappointment hits, he doesn't spiral. He feels it, he notices it, and he chooses how to move forward. That choice is power. Without this skill, everything becomes external. If he feels disrespected, he reacts. If he feels rejected, he withdraws. If he feels uncertain, he tries to control. All of you have been there before. I have. He believes the problem is out there, but most of the time, it's inside his nervous system. Not because he's broken, because he was never trained. This is why so many men are pulled toward extremes. Extremes provide relief. They promise certainty. They promise rules instead of awareness. They say, follow this system and you'll never feel this again. But avoiding emotion doesn't make you strong. It makes you brittle. Suppression feels like control until it isn't. Real control is regulation. Emotional regulation shows up quietly. It looks like not sending that text, not raising your voice in anger. It looks like sitting with discomfort without acting on it. It looks like calm confidence. Men were taught how to name what they feel. So everything uncomfortable gets labeled as anger or indifference. But under anger, it's often fear. Under withdrawal is often hurt. You can't regulate what you don't recognize. Regulation doesn't mean explaining yourself. It doesn't mean processing everything out loud. It means you know yourself well enough to act cleanly. Strong men don't overreact, and they don't overexplain. They're clear. This skill changes relationships completely. A regulated man doesn't argue to win. He listens. He doesn't escalate. He steadies. He doesn't punish people with silence, and he certainly doesn't explode. That doesn't make him weak. It makes him trusted. It also changes attraction. Calmness is magnetic. Stability is leadership. A man who stays composed under pressure stands out, not because he dominates, because he's grounded. In business and leadership, the same rule applies. People don't follow the loudest person. They follow the most stable one. So why wasn't this taught to men growing up? Because the men before us weren't taught either. They survived by suppressing. That worked for survival, not for fulfillment. This isn't about blame. It's about responsibility. We all need to take responsibility. Once you realize no one taught you this, you can stop judging yourself and start training it. Emotional regulation is learned. It's practice. It starts with pausing before you speak, pausing before you react. That space is where power lives. Most reactions aren't about now. They're about something unresolved. Regulation means noticing that. It also means tolerating discomfort. Not everything needs an immediate response. Not every feeling needs action. Feelings pass, actions stay. Many men confuse intensity with strength, but intensity without control is instability. Real strength is calm under pressure. It's knowing when to speak and when to walk away. That's confidence, not performance. If you're realizing you were never taught this skill, you're not alone. Like I said earlier, I've had to learn this myself, but now you do know. And awareness creates responsibility. You can keep reacting the old way, or you can start responding as the man you're becoming. This channel exists for that reason, to talk about the skills men were never taught. Without anger, without extremes, the skill no one taught men growing up isn't dominance, it isn't suppression, it isn't detachment, it's emotional regulation. And once you learn it, trust me, everything changes. Your decisions get cleaner, your presence gets stronger, your life gets quieter, and you no longer need to escape it. Thank you for being here. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and keep building quietly. Take care.